got the money and running. I'm pulling up on you as soon as the paper clear.
Backstage Chronicles, man. You know, it's action. Never see it, man. You know what I'm saying? This shit real lifestyle. Shit for the have it, not the have nots. You dig what I'm saying? Shout off the flyway. Lows everywhere. It's just a lifestyle. You dig? You know what I'm saying? It's popping in. Let's go. Shout off. My uncle say this shit on the floor. This shit on the floor, nigga.
Don't be a Dumbo.
Fuck you talking about.
Dumbo.
Shout out. Bow. Shout out. Just like
Shit out the Louis.
Pop it, man. This shit a lifestyle. Kane don't just walk in. No cap. Break the shit out of him, man. Just pop it. Get off. Shout out. This shit going on, man. We got some real members in this bitch. Every time in this motherfucking phosphorus room, man. This shit going on, man. This shit a lifestyle.
Shalom. I would like to give all honor, glory, and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Kakwadash. I would like to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to our sincere Akim, pushing this word out across the four corners of the world. And this lesson was inspired by the elder brother Abaya from the Jackson, Mississippi camp. And his YouTube page name is Aka Judah 2011. So subscribe and be edified through the Spirit. And he did a recent lesson called Easy is Meant Loving It. And easy is referring to the man of sin himself, Esau, Edom, that damn Easy-E, straight out of Mount Seir, crazy MF named Esau. So his video was referring to this young Jake rapper out of Memphis by the name of FNG King. And he's associated with another rapper out of Memphis by the name of Finesse 2 Times. So the so-called powers that be, they want to see you Israelites, which compose of the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Hispanics, and Native Americans, to be in that low vibrational way of thinking and moving, to be those empty vessels, those dry bones, aka to be in that spiritual sunken place, which means that you are spiritually dead. You're disconnected from your power source, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. So the so-called powers that be, they conjure up these strategic mechanisms, for example, black culture, and really it should be identified as death culture. And that's because once you go into the word black, it goes into dirty, evil, intended to harm, deserving of dishonor. And it also goes into having no light, which is spiritual, because you avoided of that true enlightenment. Hence, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, via the true understanding of the Holy Scriptures. So again, the so-called powers that be, they want to see our people in this low state, or having that sinister mindset by being a street nigga, being a thug, being a dope boy, being a pimp, being a hoe, being adulterous, being violent, and the list goes on, supposed to be acceptable. But according to the true standards of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai for the Israelites to be in, is not. And that takes me to the book of Psalm, get to the point 83:2, for lo, thy enemies make a tumult. So yes, you Israelites do have biblical arch enemies. And the very main one is referring to Esau, Edom, and more so the small hats, the Ish people, who are mainly responsible for creating this falsehood called black culture, which is a toxic lifestyle that leads to a dead end. And they that hate thee have lifted up the head. Verse 3, they have taken crafty counsel against thy people. And when you devise iniquity, that means that you are conjuring up evil schemes, plots, scenarios, circumstances, tactics for your opposed enemy. In this case, the Israelites. According to Nahum 3:1, it goes into about woe to the bloody city, referring to America. It is all full of lies and robbery. The prey departed not. And the biblical Israelites within this sinful kingdom, again, referring to America, are definitely the prey. And when you watch that movie, Menace to Society, it was some heavy scenes within that movie. And one of those scenes were when Sharif's father was talking to Cain, the main character within that movie, in that classroom setting, he stated, the hunt is on and you are the prey. So they have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. And once you go to the word hidden ones in the blue letter, it goes into about treasure or stored up. And those true hidden ones are referring to the elect of the nation of Israel, the ones who are not spiritually compromised by the falsehoods within the society. meaning the ones who are not worshiping the image of the beast. Whereas 2/3 of our people within America, they are spiritually compromised. Those jates that you saw at the beginning of this video are good examples of that. Verse 4, they have said, "Come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance." And whether our people hear or forbear, we as the Israelites are the true superheroes in the Most High's movie, what we call life. Because we as the only nation were given the Most High Yahweh's laws, statutes, and commandments. So with that great responsibility, that placed us above all nations. So therefore, we're supposed to be that standard amongst all these different nations. But throughout this movie, as you know, we had to fall, which means that we were disconnected from our heritage. And a major part of that disconnection, we were going to be spiritually out of tune from Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. And that's how we became the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And once you go to the word lost, one of the definitions, it says morally fallen. But through the gift of the Holy Spirit within this grace period, Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai are rising up a hopeful elect out of the nation of Israel and to be spiritually in tune with his righteous vibration by becoming those new creatures in Yahweh Shai. And that righteous frequency alone, it totally scares these other nations. That's why it's stated within Revelation 11:11, after those 3 days and a half, referring to those 350 years, how the spirit of life entered into them. And first and foremost, that's starting off with our great elder, Abba Bivens, on down to our elder apostles, elders, then to our elder apostles and bishops, and on down to us sincere believers in this day of time. And with this spiritual great awakening, the so-called powers that be, beginning from the nobility of Esau, Edom, along with their counterparts going into these other nations, what happened to them? It's stated within that same verse how great fear fell upon them which saw them. In a quick account of this right here from Judith, the 5th chapter, you had Holofernes. He was an Assyrian general. He called the different princes of Moab, referring to the so-called Chinese in today's time, and also the different captains of Ammon, referring to the so-called Japanese in today's time. And one of those Ammonite captains in this chapter is Achior. And Achior told the Assyrian general Holofernes, when he was trying to come against us, this, which takes me to Judah 5:20. "Now therefore, my lord and governor, if there be any error against this people," and those people referring to the biblical Israelites, and that error, and that error goes into that deviation from a moral standard, meaning to default or backslide from Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. So if there be any error against this people and they sin against their power, Yahweh, let us consider that this should be their ruin, going into that moral decay. And let us go up and we shall overcome them. Verse 21, "But if there be no iniquity in their nation, let my Lord now pass by, lest their Lord defend them, and their power Yahweh be for them, and we become a reproach before all the world." These other heathen nations knew when we as the Israelites are in one with our power source, Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, it was nothing that they could do toward us. Now fast forward to nowadays, by the man of sin being into rulership, referring to Esau, Edom, and by the scriptures stating how they are wiser than Daniel, and also by Job 9:24, how it goes into how the earth is given unto the hand of the wicked. So if the earth was given unto the hand of the wicked, you best believe that the nobility of Esau, Edom are given that left-hand knowledge on a very high level as well. And now they know how to go on a diligent search to go even deeper and to keep the majority of our people in error against Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Remember, the scriptures stated within Psalm 64:6 how they do a diligent search, and the inward thought in their heart of everyone is deep. So that's how Esau comes up with these different diabolical plots, such as black culture, this hood or street nigger mentality, and just continually creating these byproducts of black culture. For example, as you saw at the beginning of this video, FNG King, which is a 10-year-old Memphis rapper. So these offshoots or byproducts of black culture, it's like a wicked continuous cycle. And that takes me to Isaiah 9:16. For the leaders of this people cause them to err, and they that are led of them are destroyed. So for the ones of our people, these so-called leaders who have taken that bad from Esau and willingly promoted this satanic agenda on the rest of our people, as it says in Proverbs 11:21, though hand join in hand, the wicked should not be unpunished. So all of these deceptive leaders, whether it be from the false prophets amongst our people, these politicians amongst our people, and these wicked rappers or entertainers amongst our people. Because at the end of the day, those sellouts know exactly what they're doing. And they're going to catch an even worse judgment compared to Esau. So for the leaders of this people cause them to err, again, going into that way of deviating from a moral standard, departing from Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. And they are led of them are destroyed. And that's because all these different ideologies, philosophies, and false narratives of Esau, it promotes a lifestyle of sin, which ultimately leads our people into death, especially for the ones of our people willingly being engulfed into it. And the nobility of these Edomites gave these sellout jates their own type of platform, going into that black boule, secret society, or organization. And these so-called powers that be amongst Esau Edom did not want our people to be a part of their own organization. So they gave you a separate one, which also shows you through the spirit how the nobility of Esau Edom has a ruling class mentality and how they know that we're supposed to be separate. But you have our people within this setup keep begging their master for crumbs. So Esau gave this jate the okay for this so-called black secret society back in 1904, again, which is called the boule. And by the way, the word boule is a Greek term that means advisor to the king. And who is that king in today's time? 2 Corinthians 4:4, the God of this world, Esau Edom, which is why it's stated within Jeremiah 14:2, how Judah mourned and the gates thereof languish. And the gates goes into the leadership of the so-called blacks. And where you have in today's time, the main role of the boule is to be the deceptive leaders or gatekeepers in the so-called black or African American communities. So jumping back to the beginning of this video, you have these low vibrational rappers and niggas around this little 10-year-old smoking around him, probably drinking lean, enticing him to gamble. And who even knows what they have him doing behind closed doors. But what we see from face value just off the video, he is being cultured and developed by becoming a menace to society. And the so-called powers that be, referring to the main one, Esau Edom, they are meant loving it. And that's because their mindset, by giving our people that bottle, which goes into a lifestyle of moral decline, then they feel like they can stay in rulership forever. But again, that's not going to go according to Esau's ways, because Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai has an elect that are being groomed into their mindset, regardless of these great multitudes of these byproducts of black culture. That takes me to Proverbs 22:6. Train up a child in the way he should go. And the word train goes into to coach to a mode of behavior or performance. And that's by walking in the presence of Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai's light. So in this case with FNG King, the type of company around him, he's been trained up to be set for failure. So train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. So this wicked construct by the name of black culture, this nigga mentality behavior, and where you have the majority of Jake look at this as a righteous lifestyle, will definitely not be carried into the next kingdom to come, which is the kingdom of heaven. And on the road to Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, great reset, they are going to utilize their vessel dishonor who sold our people this false concept to do a great ethnic cleansing upon 2/3 of our people. And that takes me to Isaiah 10:5. O Assyrian, the rod of my anger, and the modern day Assyrians referring to the tabernacle of Esau Edom. And the staff in their hand is my indignation, which goes into righteous anger by judgment. Verse 6, I will send him against a hypocritical nation speaking about 2/3 of our people within America, and against the people of my wrath will I give him a charge. Because if it was up to the majority of our people to stay here, we would be here in this captivity forever. Because the mass majority of our people within America are so engulfed and so social engineered to continue to take counsel from Esau Edom, but not of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. And by that imbalanced mindset, you're adding sin upon sin to yourself. And according to the book of Romans, the 6th chapter and the 23rd verse, the wages of sin is death. So it says, I will send him against a hypocritical nation, and against the people of my wrath will I give him a charge, to take the spoil, to take the prey, and to tread them down like the mire of the streets. So throughout Jacob's trouble, we're going to see the anger of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua upon their vessel of dishonor, Esau Edom. And this devil is going to come down with great wrath upon 2/3 of our people who still believe in this immoral behavior within this society. And to add even more fuel to the fire, these are the type of sacrifices Jake are offering up within their grace period, especially in these latter days. So that concludes a lesson through the spirit. I Baratazat, you all edified, you all stay strong, keep pushing forward. Shalom.